Hi, everybody. This is Dee Reinhardt with Illinois WorkNet, and I've got Natasha and Olivia on the line with me. I don't know if Olivia's called in or not, but we have Natasha probably on the phone. And Tammy does happen to be on vacation, but we got some messages from her, so we will be sharing that information with you. So, Natasha, do you want to do that first?
Sure, I sure can. Okay, she wanted to make sure that everyone, just as a reminder, to send in your cash request. They remember they're reviewed and approved on Mondays and Thursdays. She said that there will be a rollover period from this over the fiscal years. So it's really important that you go ahead and get your cash request in for the next couple of weeks. And she recommends to do this no later than Monday. So please do that and get that going. And then just kind of on a side note with that is that, if you haven't done the cash request or somehow you missed that part, we do have the recorded webinars up on the partner page. So you can watch those and of course, email Tammy or Sheila, and if you have any questions on that. Some of the things that we have heard from the field from the DHS side is that some of the things that they're hearing is that the CBOs can't provide services because they don't have any money. So we definitely don't want that to that message to be sent out, especially now that you can do that. So please do that. And are these?
I believe so, Andy.
Yeah. So that's the main thing from. Oh, well, I'll go ahead and do the anecdotal thing too, because that was another one of Tammy's ones that she had mentioned. One of the things, too, that we wanted to start pulling together, okay, let me start over. As we talk to different CBOs and we hear about everybody's, different stories and everything, there's some really kind of cool things happening out there. And we need to find a way to collect those, and success story maybe isn't quite maybe the right avenue yet, because it's not, like the end. Like, you think the success story is like something that happens that you tell about, your success from the program. But we don't want to lose, we want to be able to share these, kind of inspirational stories. For example, one of them, someone, had never asked them, what they wanted to do. And so that was very, they were very happy and excited about, because now, someone actually asked them what kind of training they wanted. They're getting the help that they had wanted and needed. So what we want you to start thinking about is some of these little anecdotal, like different stories, I guess you could say. Start collecting them. And we kind of want to put together our own kind of like chicken noodle soup document for this project. And what we're asking is that if you could start, thinking about and talking with your career navigators as they're working with some of these customers, kind of if anything struck them as like an inspirational type story or comments and successes, I guess, starting successes as they're starting the program. So we can collect those, and we can, we're still working out the details on the best way to provide that, a tool for you to provide that information. So now I shall turn it over to Dee.
Just another quick little story. I was in one of the DHS offices the other day, and a woman has a master's degree and ended up on food stamps. And she was just so excited to be given the opportunity, because she's having a hard time finding a job. So these programs, that can be just one of those quick little stories that maybe they didn't actually even get into the program, but it's just being able to have the opportunity is something that can help us get more information out along the way. So I just wanted to add that to what Natasha had already said. One of the things that I want to do right now is I want to bring my screen over, and I don't want to cover up the chat, but I do want to take as much space as I can here. And I'm going to increase the size of my view. Oh, too big. Okay, so I happen to be on the dashboard right now in test. I'm not live. So we want to talk about the, Judith, if you have no, you can dial in. If she has no audio, then. Okay, can everybody else hear me okay if you're on computer speakers? Raise your hand and let us know. Okay, good. All right. Okay, so on your dashboard, we want to keep track of a couple of things. We're going to approach DHS from the other side, but during the assignment process to either EPIC or regular services, they may run into an issue, and so there are people that may or may not have an appointment scheduled. So it's real important that you keep track of this referral pending appointment has not been scheduled. It could be the fact that you don't have any appointments out there. It could be that they ran into issues with the assignment process, and so they have to take the time to reassign that person. But if you see somebody in here in this number, feel free to reach out to them to schedule an intake appointment with them, because that will help alleviate some of the issues on DHS. The next thing that we want to talk about is when you have these referrals past due, all of these items right here where you have to submit a form, that's what we want to talk about next. So if there is an item here, I just clicked on that number to get to some of those participants. You will click on the progress page. Now what we've noticed is that with handwritten forms coming in, that things are not being picked up into the system, and so you may have submitted a 2151, or you may have submitted a 2151A, but you may have clicked the wrong button, or you may have uploaded a handwritten document. So it's very critical that you use Adobe Reader to manipulate the documents that you're going to upload. But what we also did was we made it an easier viewing for you to be able to pick which one you need to click. So if you have a handwritten document, you still need to download the 2151 form, manipulate it in Adobe Reader, and then upload it here where it says upload completed 2151 form after initial appointment. Now, if you have a handwritten document where it's signed so that they can release the medical documents to you, then you would upload a scanned 2151 as needed. And you can see the difference here is we've got the reverse coloring on this. And this is where you need to upload the computerized form so that it will take those people out of the system for you to have to worry about. The other thing that we need to make sure that you're doing is that once the form has been uploaded, that you click in this area to actually mark enrolled and in what program. If you did not upload the proper document, then you will get this orange box here. And so then think about it, go back and upload the Adobe Reader version of your document. And then we also have the upload, same thing with the 2151A. It needs to be manipulated in Adobe Reader. And then you can upload any other documents over here. So does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, next thing that we need to talk about, and this is, we talked about it last week, but I want to reiterate in case there were people that were not on last week's call and have not watched the recording. No TANF recipients. And there are voluntary participants who may have a disability or may have children. Those are voluntary participants. But the rule from the study is these participants in the EPIC program cannot have a TANF check coming to their house. So the question is, does a TANF, the question to the participant if you're doing a reverse referral is, does a TANF check come to your house? Then if they go to the appointment with DHS and they get rejected, they really can't come back crying, oh, they rejected me because DHS actually has case ID numbers that indicate whether or not somebody is a TANF recipient. Now, they may have just gone off of it, but the point is that's an issue that they have to deal with DHS then. Eric, are you having connectivity issues indicator with your internet for the webinar or so that you can't access Illinois EPIC? And Jonathan's typing as well. I think it's 04 or 93. So I can find out for sure. Jonathan, thank you for that. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Chris, for saying that. Chris from Region 1 is on the call, and he says 04 is the case ID. So you can ask them, too, what does your DHS case ID number start with? Oh, 93 is disability. Okay, so I knew one of them, both of those were voluntary, so I knew that was something that they could have. Okay, last but not least, we want to also let you know, and then we've got one more thing to talk about. If you have any new contacts, please copy, if you send a message to epic@illinoisworknet.com, we will make sure that they get added into the system so that they can use the dashboard. But if you happen to send something to me or Natasha, please copy Olivia on that email. Olivia, if you would like to type your email address into the chat pod, then they can have you directly in there. And Olivia and I are keeping track of who we actually need to talk to. So if you're the executive director of your organization, but you've got career navigators that I'm going to be dealing with more, I would love to have their direct extension. So if you want to send that information to either Olivia or I or to epic@illinoisworknet.com, I would love to have that information. So I'm putting my email address in here. And Olivia, I think, is putting in the EPIC one. So those are all of the email addresses that you guys need. All right, so then, last but not least, we need to talk about the transportation dealio that's been going on. We have a poll question up here.
Hold on, one more thing too, Dee. Hey, Dee.
Okay.
Also about updating the addresses on the training program so that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will do that. I just saw that when I minimized my screen. So on the training programs, one of the things, I'm going to go to an agency here that I know that Rock River Training, and I'm going to use them as an example. I didn't tell them this, so sorry, Pam, and sorry, Daryl. Rock River Training has programs in Rockford as well as Freeport. Those two cities are a half an hour apart. So people from Freeport who may not have transportation may or may not be able to get to Rockford to go to training. So Rockford is arranging, or Rock River is arranging to have training done at a local community college. And I don't have any programs in this agency, so sorry I can't use them as a full example. But if you add a program, you would want to put in the address of the actual program. Where is it actually being offered? And for example, Howard, what agency are you from? Two Rivers? Is Howard on the call? But they're going to actually have programs in a couple of, thank you, in a couple of different areas so that the people in that side of Illinois can offer their program and have the mileage show up properly in the description on the phase 2, on the step 2 of the IL Epic. So if you have programs that are being offered at this community college, and this community college, you need to enter the program in those 3 different locations. Now, if you're offering a program, for example, I know I was talking to Rock River the other day, they're providing bus transportation from Rockford to an actual training facility that's a little bit further away. So include that information in your description as well, so that the address represents where the training actually is rather than your agency's address. And also in the program description, if you're providing transportation and how long that transportation might take, because that could be a factor when somebody selects a particular training program. So did we cover that? That's what we were, let me go back to the agenda so that I can see if I covered everything.
Yes.
Offered, okay, yes, okay. Okay, we talked about contacts, we talked about orientation and intake and enrollment. Now the one thing that we want to talk about as well is transportation. And we've noticed that, especially in Chicago, a couple of the agencies have multiple steps before they actually enroll somebody. And Chris, how many bus rides do you offer a new customer or a new person for EPIC if they're going to be going to a CBO? Okay, so 6 transit cards means they can get there and back 3 different days. We don't want to lose people because they don't have transportation. So my question is to you, A, in the poll down there is, are you providing transportation to and from your office or training for a client? We've got 15 of the people that are on the call only after enrollment, and then 2 people before and after enrollment. So what we need to try to do is, for example, in Chicago, if they can only give this person 6 transit cards, we need to get the process in for the enrollment that will fit within those 6 transit cards for that enrollment. We don't want to lose these people because they can't get back and forth. So if you need to think about how you are doing your intake enrollment exercises, you may need to rethink them. And in the other poll question, has anybody else experienced issues related to transportation. You can type those into that poll question. All right. Natasha, do we have anything else that we need to talk about?
I think that's it.
All right. Do we have any questions from you guys about anything that we haven't already talked about? Have we picked a date for the in-person training that we're going to be doing?
Nope, we do not have that yet.
Okay. All right, so I see a couple of people typing. $500 limit on transportation. Our longest training is 5 months, so there is no transportation left for paid work experience or other activities. I'm not quite sure who typed that. Was that a parameter in your contract? Okay, so that's an issue that we probably need to bring up with Tammy if we want to make a note on that. I remember years ago I was able to negotiate with the transportation company if I purchased multiple bus passes. I don't know if they still do that or not. Are the
On the
2846 is the conciliation request form, correct? So clients hanging out. We probably, Carmen, you
recommend sanction, right?
right?
Are they saying you haven't gone through the formal process yet?
Because you can't reach them. Formal process, so they're just staying on our dashboard once you. Okay, so what Chris has just typed in there, Carmen, is complete the 2846G, try to go through the process, upload the 2846G, and then do a 2151 that marks conciliation. If they don't get in touch with you then, that's when you need to notify your DHS office.
Right. And it looks like you're going to have to mail it, too. So you can upload the 2846. Oh, it's not editable. Okay.
We can turn that into a PDF.
Mm-hmm.
Are you making a note, Olivia?
Yeah, Olivia. Exactly what I was thinking.
All right, she's got notes.
Olivia is wonderful. We love her.
Yeah. What's a 3392? I've never heard of that one, Chris. You got to send us that form so that we can upload that
agreement.
one.
Okay.
All right.
Or I'm sure it's available off their site, off the DHS site. You can download it.
Well,
hey, Olivia, you want to see if that one's on their forms policy?
okay. All right, so we'll get that one up and we'll make that one editable as well. Okay. Anybody else have any issues?
Oh, if they break it. Oh, okay. And sanction immediately. Okay. Okay. All right. And then Chris has been
reaching out to all of the CBOs in Region 1 to talk about staffing needs. So if you have not already had a conversation with Christopher McMorris from Region 1's 59th Street office, you might want to make sure that you reach out to them. Chris, do you want to put your DHS email into the chat pod? And just as by way of keeping you all informed, we do have a 10 a.m. call just like this one for you guys on Fridays for DHS. So if you want to see the other side of the board and see what we talk about with DHS, then you're welcome to participate in that. And Natasha just put the webinar address in there. The phone number is the same, 866-821-1611, and that's at 10 a.m. every Friday. So if you want to take the time and hear it from the other side of the horse's mouth, then you can do that as well. We will note about the transportation, and then I think we've gotten everything else. All right. Hey, we're going to finish before time. Woo! Unless anybody has something else to type there. I don't see anybody type. Oh, Chris, stop typing. Oh, you're welcome. All right. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.